trapped in the wrong sector. Jaria walked carefully through the narrow streets of Sector Tharnas. The sky above was dark red, glowing from the pollution clouds. This part of the city was not safe. Not for someone like her. She held her small bag tightly, the last money she had inside. She had come here looking for work, but now she was lost. The map on her holoband stopped working 5 minutes ago, and the strange looks she got from the locals made her uneasy. Jaria was young, soft-spoken, and from a peaceful water world called Nelari. Her skin was smooth and light blue, and her long silver hair made her stand out in the dirty streets. Back home, she was known for her singing voice and gentle heart. Here, she was just another outsider, and outsiders were easy targets. She took a wrong turn into an alley, and that's when they came. 3 alien figures blocked her way. Their faces were covered with dirty scarves. One had a blade that glowed green. Another had cybernetic arms that made a metal clicking sound. The third one, the leader, had sharp eyes and a long scar across his face. "Nice bag," the leader said, stepping closer. Jaria took a step back. "Please, I don't want any trouble. I'm just trying to find—" "We know what you're trying," the one with the blade interrupted. "You're trying to survive, just like everyone else down here. But survival has a cost." Before she could run, the third one grabbed her arm. She tried to scream, but a shock stick pressed against her side. Pain shot through her body. Her legs gave out and she dropped to her knees. They tore her bag from her hands. The few credits inside made them laugh. "This is it?" One of them growled. "Worthless." "She's not," the leader replied with a dark smile. "She's pretty. Maybe someone will pay for her." Jaria's heart pounded. She twisted, kicked, bit, but they were too strong. One of them hit her. Her head slammed against the metal wall. Everything went blurry. Her vision dimmed. The rain started to fall. "Leave her," the leader said finally. "Too much trouble. The enforcers might be near." With that, they ran, leaving her broken and bleeding in the alley. Minutes passed. Maybe hours. She wasn't sure. The rain turned cold. Her body shivered. She crawled toward a broken dumpster and pulled herself inside. The stink made her gag, but it was the only shelter. She curled into a ball. Her hands shook. Her ribs hurt. Her vision was dark around the edges. Jaria had never known fear like this. No one was coming. No one cared. This city was a monster, and it had eaten her whole. Tears ran down her cheeks. She closed her eyes. Then, footsteps. Heavy. Calm. Echoing through the alley. She opened one eye. A shadow moved closer. It wasn't like the others. It wasn't running. It wasn't loud. The figure wore a dark coat soaked in rain. Boots made of thick old-world leather. A strange belt with gear she didn't recognize. And then she saw the face. Human. Eyes like iron. Jaw strong. Short black beard. A scar across his temple. A human? On this planet? That was impossible. Humans were rare. Some even called them myths. After the human conflict years, most alien worlds had banned them. Jaria's heart skipped a beat. Was he here to harm her too? The human knelt beside the dumpster. His eyes scanned her wounds. Then, without a word, he opened a small pack and pulled out a glowing medical tool. She flinched. "Who are you?" she whispered. He didn't answer. He gently touched her side and pressed the tool to her ribs. A warm light passed through her, numbing the pain. Jaria gasped. That feels better." Still, he said nothing. He reached into his coat and handed her a small protein bar. It was human-made. She could tell by the shape and label. She took it with trembling fingers. "Why are you helping me?" she asked softly. Finally, he spoke. His voice was low, calm. "Because I was left here once too." He lifted her in his arms, strong arms, like metal, and turned toward the alley's end. Jaria didn't know if he was friend or stranger. but something in his presence made her feel safe. As the rain fell harder, the human carried her away from the shadows. Somewhere deep inside, a spark of hope lit up. Jiraiya slowly opened her eyes. The ceiling above was made of rusted metal, and soft yellow lights blinked along the corners. She was lying on an old bed, not comfortable but warm and dry. A thick blanket covered her. Her body still ached, but the sharp pain was gone. Her wounds were wrapped neatly with medical fabric that smelled clean. Someone had removed the blood from her skin and even fixed the tear in her sleeve. She sat up slowly. The room looked like an old bunker or storage unit, filled with strange tools, broken tech, and food cans stacked neatly on one side. A small fire flickered in a metal barrel. The place was hidden, secret, safe. Then she saw him, the human. He sat on a low chair near the fire, sharpening a knife with calm, steady hands. His coat hung nearby, still wet from the rain. Under it, he wore a dark shirt and battle-worn pants. There were scars on his arms, old ones. And his eyes. They looked empty, like someone who had seen too many battles. Jiraiya tried to speak, but coughed instead. He looked at her and handed her a warm cup without a word. "Thank you," she whispered. "You saved me. I don't even know your name." The human returned to sharpening his knife. "Names don't matter here," he replied quietly. Jiraiya blinked. His voice was rough, but not cruel. It sounded like it carried weight. A voice that had shouted orders, screamed in pain, whispered to dying friends. "Why are you here?" she asked again softly. "Humans aren't allowed in this sector. They say your kind is dangerous." He gave a small, humorless smile. "They say many things." Jiraiya lowered her head. "I was stupid to come here. I thought I could find work. I needed money to send back home." He didn't respond. Instead, he stood and walked to a table in the corner. He picked up a small, glowing device and checked it. Then he muttered something in a human language. Jiraiya couldn't understand the words. Her translator implant failed to decode them. He spoke into the device again, then turned it off. "Were you calling someone?" she asked. "No one answers anymore," he said. Jiraiya stared at him. "Are you hiding?" He looked at her for a long second. Then he finally said, "I'm surviving." "Same as you." She watched him closely. The way he moved, the way he scanned the walls like he expected an attack at any moment, the way he stood, like a soldier. "You're not just some human," she said quietly. "You've been trained." He didn't deny it. Jiraiya took a slow breath. "They robbed me. They left me to die, and no one helped. But you? Why?" The human looked at her with eyes that suddenly seemed full of emotion. "Because once, I was lying in an alley just like you, bleeding, alone, and someone helped me." Jiraiya felt something shift inside her. This man, this mysterious, nameless human, had no reason to help her. Yet he had. He had given her warmth, safety, and hope. "Will they come looking for me?" she asked. He nodded. "The gangs? Maybe. Or worse, the enforcers." Jiraiya's heart tightened. "Then I have to leave." "You can't," he said, sharply. "Not yet. You're not healed, and they'll be watching the streets." "Then what do I do?" she asked. He looked at her for a moment and then said, "You stay here. I'll handle the rest." That night, as Jiraiya lay under the blanket pretending to sleep, she heard him speaking again into the radio device. But this time, someone answered. The voice was metallic and soft, with a strange echo. She couldn't understand the language, but the human's words were cold, clear. "I found her. She's alive. Target was marked by the Varnik Syndicate. If they're hunting her, they'll come for me too." A pause, then he whispered something that made her heart race. "I won't let them hurt her." Jiraiya's eyes widened. Who was this man? Why did he sound like he'd fought monsters and ghosts, and why? Why was he willing to protect her at all costs? The next morning came without sunlight. Jaria woke to the sound of boots above, not one pair but many. The floor vibrated softly. Something was wrong. She sat up quickly, heart racing. The human, still nameless to her, was already at the corner of the room, watching a flickering screen with tiny blinking red dots. "Are they here?" she asked, whispering. He didn't turn to look at her. "Yes. Drones. 4 of them. That means more are coming." "Who? Enforcers? The syndicate probably told the local police she's a criminal." Jaria's breath caught. "But I didn't do anything." "You existed," the human replied calmly. "That's all it takes. High above, floating through the smoggy streets, metal orbs scanned every corner. Each drone carried a red laser eye and high-powered sonic pulse weapon. Behind them marched the sector's alien enforcers, black armored beasts with long rifles and zero patience. The local news blared a warning. "Wanted. Female Nalari suspected of conspiracy and illegal entry. Approach with caution." The story was a lie, but it didn't matter. In places like this, lies often killed faster than bullets. Inside the bunker, the human grabbed a black bag and threw it on the bed. "Get dressed," he told her. "We're moving. I've jammed their scanners, but it won't last long." Jaria opened the bag and pulled out a simple brown cloak and goggles. It smelled old, but strong. She looked up. "Why are they after me now?" "They weren't after you. Not at first. You were just unlucky," he said. "But now they know someone helped you, and that makes both of us a threat." He strapped 2 pistols to his legs and slipped a strange device over his wrist. It looked like a watch, but it blinked in different colors. "What's that?" she asked. "Shield burst. Might buy us 3 seconds." Jaria nodded slowly. Her hands were still trembling. She had never held a weapon, never even thought of fighting. But now, death was only a street away. They exited through a hidden door behind the fire barrel. It led into an old maintenance tunnel, dark and narrow. Rats skittered past. Pipes leaked green liquid. Suddenly there was a loud clang. The tunnel shook. "They found the hideout," the human said. "They're breaching. Will they find us?" He gave her a look. "Only if we stop moving." They ran. Through the tunnels, past rusted doors, up a broken ladder, and into a half-collapsed warehouse. The city's slums stretched out in every direction. Metal huts, burning barrels, gangs in corners, beggars sleeping in crates. From a distance, they looked like any other pair. But from the sky, the drones were scanning. "Keep your head low," the human whispered. They moved through the crowd. Jaria tried to keep calm, but every noise made her jump. Every step felt too loud. She glanced at him. This man who moved like a shadow, alert but never afraid. Who was he really? Suddenly a red beam hit the ground inches from her foot. Target locked. A drone had found her. Before she could scream, the human moved. So fast, he spun, pulled a silver pistol from under his cloak and fired. "Bizazat!" The drone exploded in midair. The crowd screamed. People ran in all directions. "That was a warning shot," he muttered. "They're testing us." More drones were coming now. She could hear them. A humming in the air, sharp and angry. The human turned to her. "We can't outrun them here. We have to disappear." "How?" He led her into an alley, then into another building. This one filled with broken droids and metal parts. He pressed his hand to a scanner on the wall. The wall opened. A hidden room. Inside it was dark and cold, but quiet. He turned to her. "They won't find this place. I built it myself." Jaria leaned against the wall, catching her breath. "You said you were a protector once," she said. "Who were you really?" He paused. "Captain Elias Rowan, Human Tactical Unit 9. I was left behind during the ceasefire missions." Jaria's mouth dropped open. "That's impossible. Unit 9 vanished years ago. Everyone thought you were dead." He gave her a tired smile. They weren't wrong. Suddenly a beep on his wrist device. A new voice, crackly, mechanical. Rowan, you're alive. The human's face went cold. You shouldn't be calling me. The syndicates put a price on the girl, the voice said. And you. Jaria's heart dropped. How much? Rowan asked quietly. 50,000 credits. Dead or alive? Jaria looked at him, fear in her eyes. You could take the money. Turn me in. He stared at her and then said, I don't sell people. That's what monsters do. Jaria sat in silence. Captain Elias Rowan stood, near the small window of the hidden room, watching the streets below. He hadn't spoken in almost an hour. His jaw was tight. His eyes locked onto every shadow. Jaria finally found the courage to speak. You were part of Human Tactical Unit 9. The stories say your squad vanished after the Accord failed, that you betrayed your own kind. Elias turned slightly, but didn't meet her eyes. Do you believe those stories? He asked flatly. Jaria hesitated. No, but I want to know the truth. He slowly walked back and sat down across from her. You want the truth? He said. Fine, I'll give it to you. He began. 8 years ago, Unit 9 had been sent to secure peace on alien worlds after the Human Alliance Treaty. They weren't diplomats. They were shadows, enforcers, cleanup agents. Elias and his squad were tasked with removing corrupt leaders, warlords, and rebels in secret to give the illusion of peace. But we weren't heroes, Elias said. We were weapons. Jaria leaned forward. One mission went bad. He continued. A senator from the Nalari system, your system, was found helping illegal syndicates. We were ordered to erase him, but there were children in the building, refugees. Elias's voice became sharp. I refused the order. So did my second in command. The others didn't. We fought each other. Half of Unit 9 died that night. Jaria's hands covered her mouth. They left me bleeding in the ruins. My name was erased. The humans said I went rogue. The aliens called me a terrorist. No home, no army, just this. He gestured at the cold metal around them. Jaria was silent for a long moment. Then softly said, You saved those children? He nodded. It didn't matter. The ones in power wanted silence, not justice. Jaria now understood why he stayed hidden, why he didn't speak much, why he refused to give his name. He was a ghost, of both sides. You helped me even though I'm Nalari, she whispered. Why? Elias looked at her finally. Because I saw the fear in your eyes. The same fear I saw that night in the children's faces, and because... He paused. You're not just some girl. Are you? Jaria blinked. What? He stood, walked over to a rusted cabinet, and pulled out a data pad. This, he said, turning the screen toward her, is why they're hunting you. She looked. It was a security video. Fuzzy, glitchy, but clear enough. It showed her entering the city. Behind her walked a tall Nalari male, her uncle. They were talking. She remembered that day. He dropped me off at the transit hub, she said. Elias zoomed in on the uncle's face. He's a high-level defector, Elias said. He used to work for the syndicate. He leaked files, names, locations, weapons stockpiles. Someone wants those files buried. And you? I have no files, Jaria said quickly. But they think you do, Elias replied. Or that you know where he went? She backed away. I didn't know any of this. I didn't even know he was in trouble. That doesn't matter to them, he said. To the syndicate, truth is a problem. You are now a loose end, one they plan to cut. Suddenly, the lights in the room flickered. Then, boom! The wall behind them exploded in sparks. Smoke filled the room. Elias grabbed her and dove behind. The bed, a glowing net shot through the air, missing them by inches. Move, he shouted. They escaped through the back corridor. Jaria coughed, holding her chest. How did they find us? Elias growled. Someone tracked the call. Someone I trusted. Outside, they ran through the metal corridors of the old junkyard. Then, a voice echoed through a speaker. "Rowan, come out, give us the girl and we'll let you live." Sharia froze. The voice was deep, cruel, and familiar. Elias's eyes narrowed. "Commander Grask." "Who?" Sharia whispered. "Old squad mate. He stayed loyal. Now he works for the Syndicate." The two of them made it to the edge of the junkyard when a shadow dropped in front of them. Massive, armored alien. Grask. He smiled with jagged teeth. "Still pretending to be a hero, Elias?" Jiraiya stepped back, terrified. Grask's voice rumbled. "Give her to me. You don't owe her anything." Elias didn't hesitate. "I don't owe her. I choose to protect her." And then the fight began. Grask was fast, brutal. His armor absorbed gunfire. His fists cracked metal. Elias fought with precision, dodging, striking, using every scrap of his training. Jiraiya tried to help. She grabbed a metal rod and swung it, distracting Grask just enough for Elias to stab a blade under the alien's chest plate. Grask howled and fled. But the fight left. Elias bleeding. He collapsed as they escaped into the next tunnel. Jiraiya knelt beside him, hands shaking. You saved me again," she said. Elias smiled weakly. "Told you. I don't leave people behind." The tunnels were cold and dark, stretching like veins beneath the alien city. Every drop of water echoed like a scream. Jiraiya helped Elias walk, his arm over her shoulders. His side was bleeding, the wound from Grask's blade deeper than they thought. "We need to rest," she said softly, guiding him into an old utility room. Elias collapsed against the wall, breathing heavily. His eyes fluttered shut, but he was still awake. Jiraiya knelt beside him and pulled out the med kit he had taught her to use. "Hold on," she whispered. "You've saved me too many times. Now it's my turn." She pressed a healing patch to the wound, then activated the biogel. The substance hissed and glowed as it sealed the cut. Elias winced but didn't move. "You're getting good at that," he muttered, half smiling. "I'm learning from the best," she replied. Later, as Elias rested, Jiraiya explored the room. It was filled with old symbols, military ones, human ones. She found a cracked photo, dusty but still clear. It showed Elias and 4 other humans in uniform. Younger. Smiling. She stared at the man standing beside him. Strong, bold, with a sharp chin and fierce eyes. On his vest was a name. Captain Vale. Jiraiya recognized the name, from her uncle's whispers. Vale, the one who disappeared with the Syndicate's tech files, the one the humans said died. He wasn't dead, and he knew Elias. A sound at the doctor made her jump. Elias stood, now fully awake. He held his weapon low. "Someone's here." Jiraiya moved back into the shadows. The door opened slowly. A tall alien entered, not armored, not hostile. A female with golden skin and long braids made of wires. "Elias," she said. "It's me." He lowered his weapon instantly. "Ren." Jiraiya watched as the two hugged briefly. Ren looked at Jiraiya. "So she's the girl?" Jiraiya stepped forward slowly. "You know me?" "I knew your uncle," Ren replied. "I worked with him during the rebellion days. You look like him." Jiraiya wasn't sure what to say. Elias spoke. "Can we trust you?" Ren smiled. "I wouldn't be here if you couldn't." They followed Ren through the tunnels, deeper into the heart of the underground. Finally, they entered a wide chamber filled with screens and old computers. It was a hidden rebel base on long abandoned but still running. Jiraiya looked around in awe. "This was your base?" she asked. "It was everyone's base," Ren said. "Aliens and humans, once united by truth. Before the Syndicate bought their silence." She pressed a few buttons and a projection appeared. Jiraiya saw her uncle's face. A final message. "If you're seeing this, it means they found me. They'll come after Jiraiya next. She's the only one left who can access the key. The memory core I hid in her neural link. She doesn't know it's there, but it's the last piece of truth we have." Protect her. And if you can, forgive me. The message ended. Jariah froze. What memory core? I don't remember. Ren gently tapped behind Jariah's right ear. There, that small scar. You thought it was from a fall as a child. It wasn't. Elias looked at her. They'll do anything to get it. Now we know why they sent Grask. And why your bounty just went up. Jariah sat, stunned. She had spent her life thinking she was ordinary. But now she was carrying a hidden key that could destroy the syndicate. And maybe shift the balance of power between humans and aliens forever. Ren smiled gently. We'll get it out. I know how. Jariah nodded slowly. But something didn't feel right. That night, as Jariah tried to sleep in the corner of the chamber, she heard soft whispers. Ren, talking to someone through a hidden comm. Yes, she has the memory core. We'll remove it soon. Jariah held her breath. No, Elias suspects nothing. He still trusts me. Jariah's heart stopped. She was betrayed. Before she could move, a cold hand grabbed her shoulder. Ren, her voice was gentle but sharp. I didn't want it to go this way, Jariah, but the truth is dangerous. It doesn't save lives. It ends them. Your uncle believed in fantasy. I believe in survival. Jariah tried to run, but Ren struck her with an electric dart. Everything went black. Jariah woke up strapped to a metal chair. Lights blinded her. Machines hummed nearby. Elias was nowhere in sight. Ren stood across the room, now in a syndicate uniform. We could have done this kindly, she said, but now you'll lose that memory core the hard way. The door burst open. Elias, bloody, bruised, furious. He moved like lightning. Shots fired. Sparks flew. Ren's guards dropped. A blade flashed, and Ren fell with a scream. He rushed. Jariah broke her restraints and pulled her into his arms. I'm sorry, he whispered. I should have never trusted her. Jariah shook her head. You came for me. He helped her stand. Always. They fled the burning base as alarms rang behind them. The city above was waking up to war. But Jariah wasn't afraid anymore. She now knew who she was, and she knew who stood with her. The city above burned with silence. News hadn't spread yet, but fear had. The syndicate's network was shaking. Someone had escaped, someone had the truth, and someone was about to strike. That someone was Elias Rowan. And beside him stood Jariah, no longer just a victim, no longer just a scared girl. She was ready. They returned to the surface just before dawn, moving through the silent steel jungle of District 9. Elias had taken a direct hit during the escape. Blood still stained his side, but he kept moving. He was used to pain, but now something had changed in him. His mission wasn't just revenge anymore, it was justice. Jariah walked beside him with focused eyes, wearing a scavenged cloak and carrying a hacked data spike. The memory core hidden in her body had been accessed. The files? Explosive. Names of officials. Locations of child trafficking routes. Evidence of bribes to planetary governors. If this reached the public, it wouldn't just ruin the syndicate, it would end them. You don't have to do this, Elias said as they approached the old communication tower. I do, Jariah replied. This isn't just your fight anymore. It's mine too. He gave her a nod. Together they moved through the shadows of the tower, once a public relay station, now converted into a private syndicate hub. Cameras scanned every corner, but Elias had already mapped the blind spots. He remembered everything, every floor, every vent. Because once, he helped build this place. They broke in silently. 2 guards, neutralized without a sound. Jariah used the spike to disable the first firewall. Alarms flickered on briefly, then went silent. She smiled. I'm learning. Elias smirked. Remind me not to play cards with you. They reached the main control center. The servers glowed with blue light. A huge screen showed the city skyline. On one monitor, Bounty images flashed. Jariah's face still marked with a red X, but not for long. She plugged in the data spike. The files began to upload. Suddenly, unauthorized transfer detected. Security breach in Control Hub 04. Engaging lockdown. Metal walls slammed shut. Red lights bathed the room. Did they trace us? She asked. No, Elias said. They were already watching. The screen changed. A face appeared. Commander Grask. You just don't know when to quit, Rowan. Jariah stepped forward. We have the files, and they're uploading now. Grask laughed. You think truth matters? We own the networks. We own the governments. No one will see it. Elias pulled out a secondary device, old and dusty. This is a quantum pulse transmitter, he said. Not part of your network. Independent, encrypted, my old failsafe. Grask's smile dropped. I only use it once, Elias said. And now's the time. He slammed the button. The files were gone from the screen, vanished. Jariah gasped. Where did they go? Elias looked at her. Every corner of the outer colonies, every free station, every pirate radio, every human and alien channel not under their control. Grask roared. No! Doors exploded behind them. Dozens of guards stormed in. Laser fire lit the room. Elias shoved Jariah down. Go, get out through the west tunnel, but go! She ran. He stayed. Outside, the streets trembled with noise. Screens across the city blinked, then played a message, her uncle's voice. This is the truth they tried to bury. The files began to play. The evidence spilled across every public terminal. Names, proof, documents, footage. The people saw it and they were angry. Riots began in the lower districts. Citizens stormed syndicate offices. Old rebels rearmed. Even some local police forces turned, refusing to protect the corrupt. Jariah reached the rendezvous point. Her hands were shaking. Her heart pounded. Where was Elias? Then she saw him. Limping, bruised, one arm around his ribs, but alive. They stared at each other. Then he smiled. You did it, he said. No, she whispered. We did it. For the next few days, the city changed. News of the files spread like wildfire. Across planets, rebellion sparked. Some syndicate members fled. Others were caught by their own people. The empire of lies began to fall, one truth at a time. Jariah stood on a rooftop and looked out at the sky. Elias joined her, now wearing an old coat with a new patch. Not a military one, but a symbol of unity. A hand and claw joined together. Where will you go? He asked. With you, she said. We started this together. We finish it together. He nodded. Then let's rebuild, not with fire this time, but with hope. Jariah stood on the rooftop of what used to be the Syndicate's main headquarters. The once powerful black tower was now cracked, broken, and covered in symbols of rebellion. The Syndicate flag had been ripped down days ago. In its place, someone had raised a banner made from torn rags and paint. The symbol on it was simple, a claw and a hand, side by side. Elias Rowan's symbol. Her symbol now too. It had been 2 weeks since the truth was broadcast to the galaxy. 2 weeks since the memory. Core inside Jariah revealed the names, locations, secrets, and horrors of Syndicate control. From child labor camps to political assassinations, from bribed generals to entire species wiped off maps, everything was exposed. The reaction? Anger, fury, revolution, but also hope. District 9 had changed overnight. Riots first, then community. Rebuilding. Families who once lived in fear now stepped outside. Food stations had opened. Pirates stopped robbing and started guarding. Even rival gangs had put down weapons, at least some. A new world had begun forming from the ruins, and it all started with 2 people, a girl who had no idea what she was carrying, and a soldier who'd already lost everything. Jariah walked the streets with Elias beside her. Children waved. An alien couple bowed respectfully. A few humans even saluted Elias, recognizing the name from the files now spread everywhere. But Elias never saluted back. He always nodded and moved on. They treat. You like a legend now? Jaria said, nudging him. I'm no legend, Ilias replied. Just a man who finally did the right thing. She smiled. Maybe that's what legends are made of. They entered an old training center that had been abandoned for years. Inside, now filled with life, young aliens and humans were being taught how to defend themselves, not for war but for protection. Jaria was surprised to see a familiar face. Commander Grask, or rather, former commander. His arm was missing, replaced by a crude robotic one. His armor had been torn apart. He wore simple clothes now, seated on a bench watching the trainees. Elias approached him. You staying clean? He asked. Grask grunted. You broke my career, Rowan. You had a choice. Grask nodded slowly. And I chose wrong. But I'm still here. I want to do something that matters now. Elias extended a hand. Grask shook it without words. Jaria watched silently. Forgiveness didn't erase the past. But sometimes, it planted a new seed. Later that day, Jaria found herself standing in front of the old broadcast tower. Its equipment was working again thanks to rebels who had become engineers overnight. She stepped into the room and turned to the camera. The blinking light told her she was live. Across systems, across planets, species were watching. She took a deep breath. This is Jaria of Nilari. I was once a nobody, a girl from a water world with no power, no voice. I came to this city looking for work. I was robbed, beaten, and left to die, and no one came. She paused. But then, someone did. A man who was also forgotten. A soldier thrown away. A human who showed me that courage doesn't require power, just purpose. She looked into the lens. We exposed the truth. Not for revenge, but for change. And now I ask you, wherever you are, whoever you are, don't be afraid to rise. Don't wait for heroes. Become one. The message spread across the stars. People cried. People cheered. Some picked up tools to build. Others picked up weapons to defend those who couldn't. Change had begun. Not because of armies, because of two people who refused to be broken. That night, Jaria and Elias sat by the fire on the rooftop. The stars stretched above them, and smoke from 1,000 old battles drifted slowly into the air. She turned to him. What now? Elias thought for a long moment, then replied, We rebuild. Where do we start? Wherever people still have fear in their hearts. Jaria smiled. That's everywhere. He chuckled. Then we have work to do. She leaned her head on his shoulder. Together? He looked at her gently. Always. Epilogue. 1 year later, the galaxy was no longer the same. The syndicate was gone, shattered into smaller pieces. Some tried to rise again, but were quickly crushed by new coalitions of humans and aliens working together. Jaria now led a council of worlds once considered lesser. She spoke not like a politician, but like someone who had suffered, who understood Elias. He trained the new peacekeepers. He didn't want to lead, he wanted to protect. And he never stopped watching the shadows. They never married. They never needed to. What they shared was deeper. They were survivors, warriors, friends, family. Something more than love. Something stronger. Legends, maybe. But they never wanted statues. They only wanted peace. And for the first time, they had it.